Hey guys, how you going? Welcome to the Positive Experience podcast, where we look at the good, the bad and the ugly in living your best life. Today's segment is called In the Trenches, where we look behind the scenes at what's happening in the clinic. Hey guys, welcome to the Positive Experience podcast. So today's theme is the trenches, and we're going to present the 5W's. Got a few sheets of paper here. Why, where, when, what, and who is the 5W's. And front and center is our friend Mike. Hey Mike, how are you?
Good, Leki, how you going?
That's the way, mate. It's a Friday, so we're almost there before we embrace the weekend. It's always one of those things. So the theme here of our 5W's is we're going to jump into the time machine back into when Mike was in his university days. Okay, so it's a good way for us to get to know Mike and give us some of the context on how he got into helping people with their health. Sound good? Let's dive in. So first W, Mike, is why. Could you give us an idea on why you picked physio?
Yeah, so it actually wasn't always the number one thing in my mind growing up. So actually, when I was in year 12, I always thought I was going to be an engineer. Growing up was what I had my eyes on the whole time. I did have a lot of physios in the family, a lot of physios that are mates, but I did have my heart set on the engineering field. So that is something I chose to do first and foremost. When I actually went to RMIT, completed my civil engineering degree, gave that a shot for about 6 months. And then I realized, maybe this isn't the thing for me. I wasn't really happy with, just being desk bound and whatnot. I thought perhaps something more active would be more suited to me. So when I was exploring what else I would like to do instead, I decided to go and shadow a few close friends of mine who were in the field. I just sat in on them before I even entered the course or anything. And from there, I'm like, wow, I can see myself doing this. I was there for about 3 hours, did not feel the time at all. It just seemed like really good interaction, really active job, and something I could really see myself doing. So applied and thankfully got in, and here we are today, 8 years later, including the engineering work, and yeah, fully qualified.
Perfect, mate. Congratulations. And that segues perfectly into where. So you were finished engineering at RMIT. Where did you go for your physio?
So I found myself in the country. So in Bendigo, I found myself at La Trobe University over there.
Right.
So that was a cool experience where I had to move out of the house for the first time, kind of fending for myself, doing what I can, cooking wise and cleaning wise. So that was a good experience, and yeah, it was nice to get a feel of the country environment.
Perfect. I love Bendigo. I kind of live halfway there in Gisborne, so I know you're sort of quite familiar with the Calder Freeway.
Yeah.
And I think that what you mentioned earlier, the next W is when. What I'm going to preface the question with is you saw that 6 months into the civil engineering gig, it didn't really vibe with you and your passions and just the direction that you're heading. Can you describe the day that you knew when it was time to pull up stumps? Because most people would probably suffer through it. Like me at that time, I'm not sure if I would have been ready to switch up gears after finishing a 4-year degree. I may have stuck it out for a little bit. You're obviously not built that way, which is commendable because you just knew your passion wasn't there. So was there a particular client experience with a company that you worked with apart from the office space? Like, tease out a bit more when you knew it was time to pull up stumps.
It wasn't a day in particular. It was more of an accumulation of things, and then seeing what the job could look like in 20 years' time. So looking at those further down the track and speaking to them and what their day-to-day looked like. So it seemed like there was obviously more complex things that you can do and more exciting things that you can do later within your career, I guess, within all jobs. But for me, that it didn't sit well with me what it looked like 20 years down the track. And I wanted things to look a bit different around then. And as well with physio, I always thought to myself, even though studying another 4 years is a lot to do, the way I thought about it was it's a small sacrifice in comparison to 20 years of doing something that you don't enjoy. So that's the way my mind went about it, and I had a very supportive partner who I'm still with, and yeah, through that, I just had that support, and then the transition was pretty smooth. It was tough, studying another 4 years, but yeah, wasn't a day in particular. It was more of an accumulation of thing and seeing how the profession can look like um, later down in my career.
Man, big shout out to the support systems, of course,
Yeah,
when you're making a big decision like that. So again, big pat on the back for everyone around you. Um, okay, great. So if we're looking at the fourth W, which is what? Okay, so remember we're back 4 years ago or thereabouts, when you just started perhaps, or most recently as you graduated. What was the field that you found? Because the scope with physio is quite large. On one end you could
yeah.
be hospital, at the other end you could be a specialist in a certain level, a specialist at a certain point within the health spectrum. So was there a particular stream of physio that you wanted to head towards?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when I got into the course, we obviously get exposed to all different facets of physio, being cardio, neuro, musc. There's the three umbrellas, and then you can go into different streams with that. Um, Prior to beginning the course, as I mentioned before, I did have the exposure into the private setting. So for me, entering, that was all I knew. So I was just looking forward to that a lot. I did take on the other experiences, but I just found myself gravitating towards that session, and just having that one-on-one with patients is something I really enjoyed. So I could tell prior to getting into the course, it's something I could thrive with. I really like interacting with people. I like knowing their stories and seeing what they've been through in their life and helping them get to that next stage with their injury. So for me, that was always what I wanted to focus on. And even after uni, experiencing the other facets, it just affirmed it even more.
Okay, man, awesome. That's a great answer. So I'm going to move to the final W, which is who. Okay, so
Okay.
the way that I would, well, ask this question of you is, is there someone that you follow, or an idea that you really like that you learnt from your university days, or maybe one of your friends that you were shadowing that influenced you in the private practice, say sports setting or private practice setting, that musculoskeletal setting, that yeah, you knew that you're on the right track? Because as you were playing with this idea of giving away essentially 4 years of study to start a new track, would there be someone that you'd like to give a shout out to, personally, like one of your friends, or would you say there's someone uh, on your Instagram or someone that you follow online that's a big pulsating brain that you really look up to? Who would it be at that
Yeah.
time that
So
really influenced you?
so the person I was speaking to the most was my best mate's wife. So she has her own practice, and she's the one that I was picking her brain and whatnot prior to entering the course, and she showed me what the job could look like. She's the one that allowed me to um, shadow her at that point in time. So massive shout out to her. That kind of sparked that interest. And then I also have cousins, family within the field as well, and some friends. So it's really a collection of everyone in between, and not to mention my fiance's support moving through the whole journey. But yeah, I'd say it wouldn't be one person in particular. Just be accumulation of people and me just picking their brains, and then just showing me what this job can look like, and just really laying it out for me so I can make an informed choice, choosing to study another 4 years.
Man, I think that's thanks for that. So this is the master and apprentice model is something that I really subscribe to. Doesn't matter what field you're in, because if you're a
Mm.
tradie and you're a chippy, you got the 20-year veteran master builder, and then if you're the seedling that's come out and they're showing you the ropes, then it's kind of like a fast track. You're given the inside lane into what potentially may be. So I think those mentors that we all look for is really helpful. So yeah, glad that you got the good insight nice and early. So that is our 5Ws for Mike's university experience. Hopefully that gave you guys a lot of insight into the inner workings of how Mike's brain works. He's willing to sacrifice for the bigger cause there, and you can apply that to how we help people, because sometimes we just need to give you the hard word and make the decision that you might need more help and see a specialist, even though you don't want to, or we need to push you along with your rehab, even though it's a bit painful. We know that Mike will do the right thing because he's willing to suffer through some initial pain for long-term gain. So,
Well
congratulations, big
said.
fella. that's our episode for today, our In the Trenches episode. Before we run away, just want to give a massive plug for 2 free options that we have available to you guys. So number one, if you're unsure about how physio could help you, or if you have an injury that you're not sure about, we have a free 10-minute call. There's no obligation. You can find that on our webpage. And the second one is a free initial appointment. So it's a free session for anyone that's new to the clinic. So if we've done a really good job for you, and you've got a friend that lives near one of our locations, please send them to our website, www.ProPhysio+, or one word, .com.au, and then just follow the prompts there on our booking button and look for, you can't miss it, the free call or the free session. And Mike and I and the rest of the team, we're there to help you with whatever you need. Okay, any last words there, Mike?
No, things are good.
Good man.
Thanks,
All
Leki.
right, we're going to let you guys run away to your weekend. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll speak to you guys soon. Making healthy simple. See you guys.